This is Food Chemistry Unit 5, Chapter 18, Food Safety, Sources of Contamination. The U.S. is the safest food supply in the world, yet people do get sick from the food supply. People depend on a reliable and safe food supply. Contamination is the state of being impure or unfit for use due to the introduction of unwanted elements. This could be insects, chemicals, microbes, or other foreign particles. Physical contaminants are substances that become part of the food mixture. They may not damage the food, but they can create health hazards. This could be metal filings, broken pieces of glass, packaging materials. They could all cause damage. Insects and rodents eat the food supply and leave droppings. 10% of the U.S. grain crop is destroyed annually by insects. Insects or rodents can bring microbes to the food supply. For example, flies have hairy feet. Microbes are picked up on these and then they walk on your food. Insects lay eggs in things like the wheat supply. Inspectors from the FDA, therefore, need to be able to recognize insect parts from fragments like antennae, legs, etc. Chemical contaminants. These are chemicals used to treat insects or pests that can cause damage. So just in general, pesticides are chemicals added to prevent damage by a source, but the residue can remain on the food supply. So one type is an insecticide, which would improve crop yield by reducing loss to insects. Herbicides improve crop yield by reducing loss to weeds. And now the USDA monitors pesticides. Is there a residue left on food? How much? How much of it is a health hazard? There has to be constant testing of the pesticide. Water. This is used in processing of most of your food products. Water is a solvent. It can dissolve many things, including poisonous substances. So toxic substances are harmful even in lower concentrations, things like mercury, lead, or cadmium. Mercury. This enters fish through contaminated water. Pesticides and industrial waste get dumped into the water supply. Some pesticides were banned because they're not biodegradable, they will not break down. Rain washes them into streams and rivers, then to your lakes and oceans. They could build up into toxic levels in the flesh of fish. Industrial wastes, exhausts emitted in the air. The rain can bring those exhausts down, bring them into the soil, or waste could be dumped directly into the water. Mercury in the 1970s, swordfish had high levels of mercury. Tuna, today the pack cans are screened for mercury. Lead, it's 90% lower in 1992 compared to 1980. This is due to tighter FDA regulations, changes in gasoline, changes in the food canning industry. The major source was leaded gasoline, which created exhaust and landed on crops. It was also part of the seal on tin cans. The canning industry stopped using it by 1991. But then in April of 2014 through roughly June of 2016 in Flint, Michigan, they had their water crisis. They changed their water source from Detroit to the Flint River to save money. There was inadequate testing and treatment of the water. Lead got into the water supply and toxic levels. Many people became sick, particularly children, from the water. The citizens eventually sued and won. You can see what the water looks like. The water supply was improved, but many citizens still have old pipes that need repair. Microbial contaminants. Physical contaminants do not change the food. Chemical contaminants may or may not change food. Spoiled foods. The appearance, texture, flavor, or odor has changed. So like the fuzziness on cheese, or brown or mushy apples, or smelly milk, right? These are spoiled foods. Food spoilage is a change that makes that food unfit for consumption. A foodborne illness is a sickness caused by eating contaminated food.